Hi guys, Chess Learning for Life here, back with another video. So today we're looking at a game between Georg Rotlewi with white versus Akiba Rubinstein with black, played in 1907, if I remember correctly. This game is called Rubinstein's Immortal game because the attack it's very beautiful. So let's dive right in. So the opening is a queen's pawn opening, which both sides voluntarily block in their light square bishop. This just shows how theory was like still lagging behind in the 1900s. Yeah, people were still playing inferior ideas because yeah, theory was just less developed. So people were just trying to get a comfortable game and just drive into the middle game where their play could really shine. So here, this is the symmetrical variation of the Tarish variation. So basically, well, why is there a pawn on d4, d5, c4, c5 is because both sides are unwilling to initiate the exchange. Now, white could already initiate the exchange and give black the isolated pawn, but then this just helps the bishop come out and move, and let's say something like bishop e2 or d3. Now this is already a very typical position where black is okay having this IQP because his position is already very strong. His knight already has access to this e4 square, although this would hang d5. So some plans right here is maybe to put this bishop on an inferior square to allow this knight into e4, or you could think about maybe fianchettoing this bishop with a6 b5, gaining more space, and then going bishop b7, and then sometime later on you could already push for d4, right? If you could comfortably push for d4, then already this position is not bad for black. So here a very typical continuation is maybe a6, because here if you push, then there's knight a4 and your bishop is chased away and now your pawn is lost. So a6 is it's a double meaning because it lets black gain this access on a7 if the bishop is ever kicked away, and going b5, bishop b7, gaining more queenside space and letting the light square bishop fianchetto. So this just shows how both sides don't want to give the other side the IQP, because then the position would favor the IQP, because these bishops haven't moved yet. So here, white actually exchanged on c5, which is a mistake. This shows how we need to play more carefully in the opening, because now this just lets the bishop out with one move. Instead, if you waited patiently with a3, because you also don't want to commit your bishop, because then d takes c, then now you're actually threatening d takes c5, because after bishop takes, you can always strike with b4 and then bishop b2. Now a3 can justify d takes c5, and now black's best move is hilariously also to copy and wait, and something like this could happen, where at least now after you take on c5, although you let his bishop out, but at least you got b4 and bishop b2 in. and you got to fee and castle your bishop and advance on the queen side. But because you took on c5 without a3, now you don't have b4. Now you play a3, but then I can play a6, and if you kick me away, then I can always drop back, and I also have ideas of taking and going b5 myself. So here, castles, queen d2, you see white is still not moving this bishop because he's scared of d takes c4. So both sides is playing the waiting game. Now this is a pawn sacrifice. You see right here, after it takes. If you accept it, which is the best move, by the way. Now, there's already some interesting ideas like a knight sack, which doesn't really work because here king e2, and apparently the attack could be defended because there's this very strong idea after this check and the check, knight d4. This knight is a monstrous defending knight in d4, and the attack is just not strong enough to justify the piece sack. But all in all, the pawn sacrifice after rook d8 is just that black's pieces are very active. But I mean, after queen b3, white may untangle right here. Let's say bishop g4, bishop e2, and then here castles. White untangles, but then now the compensation lies on these active rooks and active bishops right here. But then this fee and castle bishop is also very strong, so there may not be enough for the compensation of this pawn. But white in the game didn't take play bishop d3, which is just a very bad move because it loses a tempo. Rook d8 before bishop e7, which it's just a matter of preference, but why not get the rook opposite of the queen, right? So yep, another tempo lost. So this is also developing with tempo, as I've talked about in another video. So now you see how black's pieces are much more well placed than white's pieces, and just all in all, quicker in development, allows for knight e5, opening up this bishop, trading away this very key defender of the king side. After takes. Here white even overextends with f4, which may be the losing idea in this position. But then let's say after rook fd1, rook c1, let's say something like this, still black's position is much more easier to play because this bishop is much more active, this bishop is much more active. Now if the knight hops anywhere, of course black is happy with this trade, and the knight can't even hop here because we were first with this knight hop, and now white's position is just very passive. Let's say h5, putting a love, giving a love to the king, and here black is just much better. And a typical idea in these kind of positions is to create a queen and bishop battery on this weak h2 square. Now this f3 knight is gone. So what happened in the game? White went f4, black dropped back, c7 or b8 are both fine because they both gain access to this b6 square, which this diagonal is weakened because now this e3 pawn is a target because white played f4. So white continued expanding with e4, but this is just too weakening for the queen side. After a check, and here a very nice tactic, knight g4. And here, white is just faced with a lot of problems, and basically every decision is a bad one. Now, if you take here, then rook takes d3, threatening to take twice on the knight, and these bishops would be very strong against the rook. So you may have to defend it, but then the rook could even come down to d2, and then this bishop may like come to a1, which is just depressing. And here already a very nice tactic, queen h4, deflecting the queen away from g2. So as you could see, of course white didn't want to go down this path, so he went bishop e4. But then here black just included the queen into the attack. Now another way was taking first and then going queen h4, because if takes then queen h4 is mate, but Rubinstein chose for queen h4. So here white went g3. We can see later why this doesn't work. But then h3 also doesn't work because of a beautiful continuation. Let's try and pause the video, try and solve this one. How does black win? Convincingly. So how to win is actually sacrificing the rook. Now if you take on b7, then already a rook sack and this mate. So you cannot take on b7. If you take back the rook, then here you could just take the bishop, because after queen takes and queen g3, who's stopping mate? Queen h2 is the next move. If you take on g4, then queen h4 is mate. So what this does is it undermines this bishop, forces queen takes instead of knight takes, because knight takes there's no queen g3. And here after h3, if you went for queen g3 immediately, then this knight is hanging. So you do have to deflect the queen away from the attack on the g4 knight, so you could go your queen to g3. So what happens after g3 in the game? So I'm not going to ask you to pause the video because I know you see this one already. It's, of course, you sack the rook and the queen. So basically, if you don't accept the queen, then you deflect the queen from h2. So here you basically have to accept the queen, unless you want to play like this and rook takes g3, and who's stopping knight takes h2, because if queen takes, then rook h3, and here white is still losing anyways. So here white took the queen, but then now pause the video and try to solve this one. How do you win for black? Here, of course, you sack the other rook. And now what could white do? Because if you accept the rook, which is what happened in the game, then bishop takes, queen g2, and now a very nice finishing touch, which is just rook h3. And nobody's stopping rook takes h2 mate. Because this queen is pinned, if you take the bishop, it doesn't matter. There's this bishop on b6 controlling g1. So you cannot accept the sacrifice. So what else can you do? Oh, you can protect the queen. But then here, you could take the bishop. And then after queen takes, knight takes f2. And then wherever the king goes, it's a discovered attack. And then the next move, you would like get your rook to c2, and yeah, that's the easy way. And you're just up a lot of material. So yeah, what happened in the game after rook d2, queen takes, and then rook h3, and yeah, Rubinstein saw these all accurately, played a beautiful attacking game, and yeah, this Rubinstein's Immortal game. I hope you like it. I hope you learn a lot in this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more chess content, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.